This is Chuck Kowalski with Diatoms Energy. Today is Friday, January 24, 2014. In this segment, we want to talk about Cuba. They recently put out a press release stating that they're renewing their efforts to explore for oil. This comes after several failed attempts in drilling offshore wells in recent years, which caused their foreign partners to seek safer ventures elsewhere, which is understandable. Cuba plans to drill a 27,000-foot-long well, which is the longest ever drilled on the island. That well and others will be drilled in a land region that's about 60 miles east of Havana, and they'll use horizontal drilling techniques to reach deposits of heavy crude just a few miles offshore. Cuba produces about half of the country's oil consumption, and the remainder comes imported from Venezuela. They had high hopes to be an oil-producing powerhouse just a few years ago, but those hopes are all but gone at this point. Of the three major offshore wells that were drilled in Cuba, the first was not productive, but a subsequent study of the drilling results showed that there could be promising oil-producing rocks in nearby waters. The second well was drilled by Petronas, and it found heavy oil that was so thick that it could not economically be lifted out of the ground. And the third attempt by a Venezuelan state found rock that was so hard and thick that it wore down drill bits before actually reaching any oil. Estimates of Cuba's oil reserves have a wide range. Their government estimates reserves on the high end, which is 20 billion barrels, while the U.S. Geological Survey estimates the reserves at about 5 billion barrels for an average range. This is still a sizable figure at 5 billion, but it does them little good if they can't extract it. The U.S. embargo and political pressure makes Cuba an unattractive place for oil exploration at this point. There are strong concerns also with environmental risks. Cuba lacks the expertise to contain any major oil spills in the region that could have oil landing on Florida's beaches with just in a week or two. An interesting part of the embargo is any offshore drilling platform working in Cuba must have no more than 10% of U.S. components. An Italian company specifically built a semi-submersible platform in China to meet these restrictions, but after drilling for a dry hole in 2012, the platform was sent to Angola for a 5-year contract. For the near future, Cuba will probably struggle just to be energy independent, let alone becoming a sizable oil producer. If indeed they did have 20 billion barrels of reserves, that would be one of the largest 20 producing oil countries in the world. However, for this to be realized, too many things will have to align. Given the current political and financial environment surrounding Cuba, there's little chance that it will be an oil powerhouse anytime in the foreseeable future. So a lot of the investment and exploration dollars and time and expertise is being diverted to more favorable countries like Mexico and Africa and South America, Brazil. So those areas look a lot more attractive. That has left Cuba, and now it's focusing more on those areas. So I doubt that they'll be back to Cuba anytime soon. But still, they have some possible reserves that could be an attractive opportunity, but it's probably a long-term adventure at this point. For Diatoms Energy, this is Chuck Kowalski.